Hey, I'm Wesley. I recently played through the entire main story of Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream, collecting every collectible in the main story. It was quite time consuming and honestly at times felt pretty monotonous. I struggled with a ton of areas and I know I'm not alone. So I decided to sit down for about 10 hours straight going through quests, looking at rewards, making maps, marking locations, and compiling everything together. In this video, I will be going over the locations of every collectible item in the main story and side quest of Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream. I would appreciate it if you subscribed if this video ends up helping you because, well, as of the time of editing this, I have been awake for 20 hours working on this exclusively. I hope that this guide can prove helpful for people who are wanting to 100% the game but are struggling, or people who just want to blast through the story to power up, get cosmetics, and participate in the online content. If you are unfamiliar with how the collectibles work, let me explain. There are 5 total collectibles possible in each quest. One is a cosmetic item that will drop from named enemies, or mini-bosses. One is a data cell which will drop a profile card illustration when collected. The last 3 are Remnants, which can be used for powering up through the archives. It is worth mentioning that these Remnants can be collected by touching them, attacking them, or shooting them. On these maps, I also marked the locations of most consoles, which are challenges that can give you score bonuses. This way you can speed up your S rank grinding for your missions. I will also show you what cosmetics and profile card illustrations are available from each quest. I have divided this video into chapters if you are looking for a specific quest, that way you can just jump right into it. Any commentary I give will be brief and include some notes. Real quick, I also streamed my entire playthrough and time collecting all of this on my Twitch at twitch.tv/HaWesley, so you should check that out. Now enough yapping from me, let's get started. Chapter 1 Quest 2, Administrator. This is the first quest for obtaining collectibles, containing 5 total. The first remnant can be found at this tree here. The second remnant can be found under the bridge. Try using the administrator to fly to it if you're having problems. The third remnant can be found at this rock. The data cell for this quest can be found right next to this wall at the ruins. If you collect the item from this data cell, you will receive the Sword Art Online 1 Einkride back cover artwork illustration. If you are struggling to find the named mini-boss, it is in the field this way to the west. If you defeat this mini-boss, you will receive the Survivor Schoolboy's Uniform A. Chapter 1 Quest 4, A Familiar Assailant. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. The first remnant can be found in the air between these pillars. Try using Leafa to fly to it. The second remnant can be found at this rock. The third remnant can be found behind this wall at the boss area. The data cell can be found right here, a little before the boss area. If you collect the item from this data cell, you will receive the Sword Art Online 2 Einkride back cover artwork. The named mini-boss can be found over here. Defeating this mini-boss will give you the female scratch hoodie. Chapter 1 Quest 5, LLENN. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. The first remnant is found at the top of this rock. You can find the second remnant right at this tree over here. The third remnant is found in the air along this rock wall. Nearby this third remnant, you'll find a console in the data cell. The data cell has the Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online 1 Squad Jam back cover artwork. The named boss is up here. Defeating it will give you the female flex suit. Chapter 1 Quest 6, Eugeo and LLENN. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. The first remnant is found behind this rock all the way over here. You can find the second one on top of this rock on the sledge. The third remnant can be found at this tree here. I recommend using Eugeo's heavy hold attack to fire a projectile if you're having a hard time maneuvering around to get these. The data cell can be found between the first 2 remnants right here. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online 3 Fairy Dance back cover artwork. You can find the named mini-boss all the way out here. Defeating it will earn you these rad looking protective sunglasses. Chapter 1 Quest 7, Reinforcements. This quest contains 5 collectibles. Each remnant here can be found at each of the boats. The first one being at the front of the northmost boat. The second one being next to the eastmost boat. The third remnant is found on the top of the boat pool on the southernmost boat. Remember, Elizabeth can fly. The data cell can be found over here next to this rock. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online 4 Fairy Dance back cover artwork. You can find the named mini-boss north of the eastmost boat over here. Defeating it will net you the pilot goggles. Chapter 1 Quest 9, Galaxia's Door. This quest contains 5 collectibles. The first remnant can be found in the middle of this field over here. The second remnant is found behind this pillar at this temple place. You can find the third remnant next to the stone wall in these ruins. The data cell can be found at the far east side of the map over here. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online 5 Phantom Bullet back cover artwork. Last, the named boss can be found nearby this river over here. Defeating it will give you Klein's Salamander Bandana, only equipable by Klein. That is all for the first chapter of the story. The side quest does not contain any collectibles. I hope this was helpful for you. Remember, I marked console locations on the map, so if you're struggling to S rank any of these missions, try fighting additional enemies and completing the console challenges. Let's continue. Chapter 2 Quest 1, Knights of the Blood Oath. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. The first remnant can be found behind these barrels near the starting point. The second remnant can be found between these trees up here. The third remnant is found behind these boxes on the other side. You can find the databank tucked away over here. Collecting it will reward you with the Sword Art Online 6 Phantom Bullet back cover artwork. The named mini-boss can be found on the center of the map right here. Defeating it will give you the Female Magician's Robe. Chapter 2 Quest 2 Unease. This quest contains 5 collectibles. The first remnant can be found next to this rock nearby the river. The second remnant is high up in a tree here. Try using Fuuka if you're having a hard time getting this. The third remnant is across from that, sitting next to this tree here. You can find the databank on this little island here off to the side. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online 2 Second Squad Jam finished back cover artwork. Nearby this databank, you will find the named boss over here on the same island. Defeating it will give you the eye patch. Chapter 2 Quest 3 A Hidden Player. This quest contains 5 collectibles. There are also 2 areas here, a starting area and a large city. Progressing the main objective will take you to the second area. At the starting area, you can find the first remnant on top of the roof of this building. A console is also nearby. Progress the objective and you can find the second remnant on top of the scaffolding north in the city. You can find the third remnant on the far east side of the city between some machines. The databank is found at the south side of the city near the large circular building. Collecting this databank will give you the Sword Art Online 7 Mother's Rosario back cover artwork. The named boss can be found far north of the city around here. Defeating it will give you this gas mask. Chapter 2 Quest 4 Dead Indicators. This quest only contains 1 collectible. It's a databank which can be found at the middle east side of the map. It's on top of a roof right here. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online 8 Early and Late back cover artwork. Chapter 2 Quest 5 Cardinal. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. The first remnant you can find is in the starting cave on top of the rock right here. The second remnant is found above molten lava right here. The third remnant can be found further on, above this rock at the ledge nearby lava. You can find the databank across the lava sea from that remnant right there. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online 9 Alicization Beginning back cover artwork. Now, this quest does something really weird with the named enemy. You must first progress the objective in the cave. After progressing the objective, leave the cave. After leaving the cave, re-enter the cave and go back to where the first objective was, all the way at the back of the cave. This will cause the named boss to spawn right there. Defeating it will give you the Librarian's hat. Chapter 2 Side Quest 1 A Makeshift Alliance. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. The first remnant can be found above the ground next to the big circular building over there. Now, this quest also does something really weird. In order to get access to the other 2 remnants, you must progress the objective. It will lift the invisible walls that would block your way. You can find the second remnant north in the city, on the ground nearby this building. The third remnant is found behind a crate next to this building. The databank is found near the starting point behind this building here. The databank will give you the Sword Art Online Progressive 1 back cover artwork. The named mini-boss can be found near the first remnant on the street here. Defeating it will give you the ribbon headband. Chapter 2 Side Quest 2 Alice's Discipline. This quest contains 5 collectibles. The first remnant can be found in the alleyway on the right side of the map. The second remnant is found above the ground here, just north of that nearby objective. The third remnant is tucked over here in this corner right at the middle of the map. The databank is found here near the top of the map. Collecting this databank will give you the Sword Art Online Progressive 2 back cover artwork. The named mini-boss can be found near the center of the map right here. Defeating it will give you the Female Armor of Harmony. That is all the collectibles for Chapter 2. If this guide has helped you any so far, I would appreciate it if you liked the video and shared it with other people who may need it. Let's continue now. Chapter 3 Quest 1 Unexpected Reunion. This quest contains 5 collectibles. The first remnant can be found next to this curved rock by the wall. The second remnant is found right next to the skull over here, a little bit spooky. The third remnant is found on the ground right at the north side of this boat here. The databank is found on the north side of the northmost boat right here at this wall. Collecting this databank will give you the Sword Art Online 10 Alicization Running back cover artwork. The named mini-boss can be found nearby the second remnant at the skeleton over here. Defeating it will give you the military hat. Chapter 3 Quest 3 Forest of Wandering. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. This quest has 3 different areas, each accessed by progressing the objective. The first area only has 1 remnant, which can be found near the starting area over here behind this large tree. Progress the objective and you'll find the second remnant under this bridge. You can get it by shooting with Fuuka's explosives. The databank can be found tucked over here, and it has the Sword Art Online 11 Alicization Turning back cover artwork. The named boss can be found nearby that second remnant over here. Defeating it will give you the blue flower clip. You can now progress the objective to the third area, where you can find the remnant behind the teleport gate that you spawn at. Chapter 3 Quest 4 Maze. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. You may have to explore this map first in order to view the map in full due to it being a dungeon level. The first remnant can be found right here if you make a straight shot to it from spawn. It is found above this pillar. Use Fuuka to shoot at it. Try your skill. The second remnant is found in this room with the moving platforms above the void here. The third remnant is in the corner near the end. You have to destroy a false wall here in order to find it. The databank is found in this far right room in the corner. It will give you the Sword Art Online 12 Alicization Rising back cover artwork. The named mini-boss can be found in the same room as the first remnant over here. Defeating it will give you the male chili jacket. Chapter 3, Quest 5, Rendezvous. This quest contains 5 total objectives. You may have to explore this map first in order to view the map in full due to it being a dungeon level. The first remnant is behind this fake wall tucked in the corner here. The second remnant is also behind a fake wall sitting in this corner on a box. The third remnant is near the end of this room here. It's on the second floor sitting in a corner. Across from that third remnant, you can find a fake wall containing the databank. This databank will give you the Sword Art Online 13 Alicization Dividing back cover artwork. You can find the named mini-boss at the far right side of the map over here. Defeating it will give you the male magician's robe. Chapter 3, Side Quest 1, The Two's Relationship. This quest has 5 collectibles. The first remnant can be found sitting on some dirt over here. The second remnant can also be found sitting on the dirt right here. A console is directly next to it. The third remnant is all the way up here next to this tree. A console is also directly next to it. The databank is found on the west side of the map just sitting here. Collecting this databank rewards you with the Sword Art Online Progressive 3 back cover artwork. The named mini-boss is found close to the first remnant in this field over here. Defeating it will give you the thick-rimmed glasses. That's all for Chapter 3, you're halfway there. If you made it this far, great work. Let's keep going and move on to Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Quest 1, Tragedy at the Ruins. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. In order to collect the third remnant here, you will need to progress the objective. The first remnant is found to the right of the spawn point next to these rocks. The second remnant is found at the top of the map next to this tree over here. You can find the databank at the same section down over here. Collecting this will give you the Sword Art Online 14 Alicization Uniting back cover artwork. The named mini-boss is found near the spawn area down here. Defeating it will give you the male soldier jacket. Progress the objective now and you can collect the third remnant over here in this corner nearby the staircase. Chapter 4, Quest 4, Potential Culprit. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. The first remnant can be found at the edge of this bridge in this corner. The second remnant is found on the ground on the east side of the map right here. The third remnant is found at the southernmost point of the map right here on the ground. The databank is found sitting over here in its own little section. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online 15 Alicization Invading back cover artwork. The named mini-bosses can be found over here in this section. Defeating it will give you the Librarian Spectacles. Chapter 4, Side Quest 2, Kind Soul. There are 5 collectibles. The first remnant is found on the ground at the end of this little area. The second remnant is up here at the edge on the ground. The third remnant is down here on top of a rock. The databank is near the center of the map along this path. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online Progressive 6 back cover artwork. The named mini-boss is found at the top right near the second remnant I mentioned. Defeating it will give you the male Sharp Striker outfit. Chapter 4, Side Quest 4, Alice's Tea Party 1. There are 5 total collectibles. The first remnant can be found on a rock nearby the spawn point over here nearby the cave. The second remnant is found on a rock at the back of this room in this cave. The third remnant is found on top of a rock on top of a hill down here. The databank is at the top rightmost part of the map up here. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online Progressive 7 back cover artwork. The named mini-boss is at the center of the map right here. Defeating it will give you the female fairy tale dress. Chapter 4, Side Quest 5, Alice's Tea Party 2. Containing 5 collectibles, the first remnant is found on a stump over here. The second remnant is found on the other side of the map, on the ground at a rock right here. The third remnant can be found sitting in the air at the right side of the map here. The databank can be found at the tip of this path right here. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online Progressive 8 back cover artwork. The named mini-boss can be found nearby that first remnant right here. The reward for defeating this named enemy is the thin-rimmed glasses. Chapter 4, Side Quest 6, Alice's Tea Party 3. This quest only contains 3 collectibles, each of which are remnants. The first one is found in the air near the river south of where you spawn at right here. The second remnant is also found in the air, on the other side across from that, east right over there. The third remnant is also above a rock, north of the second remnant near the objective. Alright, just one more chapter to go and you will have successfully collected every collectible in the game's main story mode. Chapter 5, Quest 1, Enemies on the Prairie. This quest contains 5 collectibles. The first remnant is found in the air next to this tree up here near the river. The second remnant is found next to this rock down here on the south part of the map. The third remnant is above the hot springs to the west right here. The databank is northwest, tucked in this spot over here. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online 16 Alicization Exploding back cover artwork. The named mini-boss is at the bottom leftmost part of the map right here. Defeating it will give you the Large Male's Mighty Guard's Mail. Chapter 5, Quest 2, Fuuka's Pursuer. This quest contains 5 collectibles. The first remnant is found on the left side of the map on the ground in this room here. The second remnant is at the middle top of the map on the ground in this corner here. The third remnant is in this hallway on the ground in this corner right here next to the staircase. The data cell is on the top right part of the map next to a console. Collecting the status cell will give you the Sword Art Online 17 Alicization Awakening back cover artwork. The named mini-boss is at the bottom middle of the map here. Defeating it will give you the Northern Army hat. Chapter 5 Quest 4 Fuuka's Record. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. The first remnant is found in the corner under this building behind this pillar. The second remnant is found next to the gate under this building in the corner. The third one can be found in the north part of the city between 2 canisters right here. The databank can be found at the bottom of the city right here in the corner behind this truck here. The contents of the databank is the Sword Art Online 18 Alicization Lasting back cover artwork. The named mini-boss is also in the north part of the city over here. Defeating it will give you the female's blaster jacket. Chapter 5 Quest 5 Junk Data. This quest contains 5 total collectibles. This quest has 2 areas in a dungeon map, so you might have to run ahead and explore a little bit to open the map up. To progress to the next area, you take a teleporter at the end. For all 3 remnants here, you should be using Xenon to shoot them. The first remnant being on the ceiling right here in the first area. This is the only collectible in this area. The second remnant is found on the ceiling here. The third being on the ceiling in the last room of area 2 in this corner right here. The databank is found in the room before the last room of area 2 in the corner. The contents of this databank is the Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Game Online 2 Second Squad Jamstart Frontispiece artwork. The named mini-boss is also found in the same room in area 2. Defeating it will give you a large male's protective vest. Chapter 5 Side Quest 2 Number 1. This quest contains 5 collectibles. The first remnant is found on the ground near the boundary right here. The second remnant is also near the south boundary on a tree branch right here. If you go north to the river from here, you can find the third remnant also on a tree branch. The databank is a little to the east of the third remnant right here. Collecting it will give you the Sword Art Online Progressive 5 back cover artwork. The mini-boss is on the right side of the map near the boundary below the river right here. Defeating it will give you the female Nereid dress. Chapter 5 Side Quest 6 Alice's Tea Party 4. This is the last quest with collectibles in the main story, with 4 total. It has 3 remnants and 1 databank. The first remnant is found at the west side of the map right at the boundary sitting above a rock here. The second remnant is next to a stone wall right here at these ruins. The third remnant is a little north of that at the stone wall. The databank is north of the first remnant, still against the boundary right here. Collecting this databank will give you the Sword Art Online Progressive 4 back cover artwork. And with that, you have successfully collected every collectible in the main story of Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream. If this video helped you, I would appreciate it a ton if you subscribed, liked, and shared it. I stayed up for a while working on this video to try to get it out as soon as possible so that people can use it as a resource when the game launches. I hope you found a lot of use out of this. I plan to continue making Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream content, so if you're interested in more, please let me know. Be sure to check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/HaWesley, where I'll be streaming this game amongst others pretty often. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.